Hello, welcome to the latest episode of The Delicious Legacy. I'm Thomas Dinas. On this bonus episode, I'm talking to the chef Giancarlo Vatteroni, or as he's more commonly known, Gianni. Gianni and I worked together a few years ago in a restaurant in central London, in Soho, only for a few months, but we bonded and we stayed in touch and we became friends since then. Gianni's been a chef in London for more than 25 years, and he worked in an incredible array of amazing Mediterranean and not only restaurants. So a few months ago, when it was still summer, late August, I met with him in South Bank and talked about his latest venture, Pizza Squad. But since the weather was a bit too windy to record outside, we had to go and sit in a more enclosed space, which had the unfortunate event of having music on the background. And that masked a little bit of our sound while we were recording. But I hope you enjoy all his fascinating details about life in London restaurants and his favorite recipes when he was growing up in rural Tuscany. And of course, he's going to talk to us about his newest adventure, Pizza Squad. Well, that's it for me. Let's hear it from Gianni. Enjoy.
Hello, Tom. Nice to see you.
Gianni.
How are you doing?
Good, very good, thanks.
Good.
And I hope you too.
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast, The Delicious Legacy.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And an honor to have you.
Wow. Thank you.
You and I worked together for about 3 months.
Yeah,
A few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah, but not the old Dehesa. That was insane.
Yes.
That was so much fun. Yeah.
So, today, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your history in the food business and your passion about food and how did you end up doing what you're doing. And of course, I'm really interested to know about your childhood favorite foods and and what was there.
God, you got loads of talk
Yeah,
about.
let's start from the beginning.
So at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, the beginning. Oh God, that's 100 years ago.
Where were you born?
Yeah, I was born in Italy, and I've been I did catering college in Italy and everything, and then I came over here to London about 26 years ago, maybe 27 years ago. It's one of those dates. It's a bit vague. So I spend more time over here in London now than back home. As I'm turning 50 this year, don't even go there. It's been amazing. This kind of experience, amazing kind of, one thing I loved about coming here, and it was just so incredible. I remember arriving at I was in my early 20s then, and arriving to Gatwick Airport, just seeing the produce on a supermarket there, it's only, you're at the airport, literally. Yeah. But Marcus Spencer there was so vivid, the colors and new ingredients, and I was like really super excited. And then so the first time I came over in holiday. So I was with my best friend Andrea Vincenzo, and it was nobody spoke English. We would be like really disjointed. We were like, oh my God, I can't use the underground. We don't know how to do anything because we were coming from a very small town in Carrara in Tuscany.
In Tuscany?
Yeah. Beautiful little town. It's on the coast, it's got a mountain, there's the background. And, so it's very lovely. But very provincial. To come to a big city, crazy. Yeah, crazy, full of everything. It just blew me away. And then I knew there and then I wanted to move over here. I wanted to experience London more, and then I fell in love with the food. It was there, it was so many exciting new things. It was just happening in London at the time. Used to go to pubs and the food was sorry, not that good. And then used to go, and then you'll see the progression of change in the pubs are opening up, becoming gastro pubs, and having all this really ripping down all the furniture and then making them really cool places. with really good food.
You experienced the transition. From,
I did, yeah.
From that of average mediocre food.
That's
to
right.
something-
I was very lucky to see that, to experience that. So, a couple of years later, so that was my first arrival in London. Then a couple of years later, I found myself working in a place called the Union Cafe, which is in Marylebone Lane. It's still there. Obviously, it's changed hands and whatever. But I believe it's still there. When I met two really amazing people, it was Caroline Brett and Sam Russell. They really inspiring. Caroline, I couldn't speak English very well, but she spoke a bit of Italian. She would help me through those certain things, and I eventually became a sous chef at the time, and it was great, because she really introduces me to lots of what are friends now, but equally to a new world altogether. Caroline had this amazing palette of tasting flavors, beautiful. She loved Italian produce. She used to get, the best Italian produce we possibly get, the best cherry tomato, the best olive oil. I remember then I started using produce from Spain, and it's just like, wow, it was mind blowing. Literally, it was like, it's really, really incredible.
Things that you haven't experienced or seen in Italy or in a small place in Tuscany before.
Exactly.
Which has amazing food, but
it's very limited to
yeah.
It's very limited to the area. From Greece, it's a very similar.
From my small town, same thing.
You come, the produce in Greece and Italy is amazing. You've got beautiful hams, you've got beautiful charcuterie, you've got beautiful cheeses, you've got the fish is brilliant. It's just, quarter from the fish is delicious. From the sea is delicious, but it is what it is, just limited to that. Coming here, actually working with us and introduce all these new flavors and new ideas, new combinations, and it's really exciting. And then I left the Union Cafe after about 2 years. I was working with Caroline. I met so many other friends through that. Then I went to work. I set up Moro. I went over Moro restaurant in Export Market with the Clarks and Mark Sainsbury and Jake. Sorry, it's really great. It's really fun.
How long did you work there?
Not that long actually. I got given. Another friend, Peter Gordon at the time, was up and coming rising star. He just opened the Sure Club in Notting Hill, in All Saints. So, there was a great opportunity to want to work with Peter, and it was one of those things I had to decide between really good food on both sides. But because I was really into the fusion cooking, I decided to switch and go with Peter Gordon and work alongside Peter in the kitchen. And there was another amazing experience. Peter and I worked together for many years. I can't even remember. We did the Sure Club, and then we moved to Sure Club in central London, so we did that as well. And then
where was it initially?
It was in All Saints. It was in so it was not in Notting Hill first. And then was moved down to Soho, what's called West Soho, behind kind of Selfridges area.
Yeah.
Selfridges? No, behind Selfridges. What I'm saying. So no, Selfridges is not in Soho. It's behind kind of Liberty.
Right.
Kind
Liberty,
of the area there. So it's quite exciting. Because the produce again we use all this amazing Asian produce. We went to much more Japanese in that period. We have a friend of one of the sous chefs came straight from Nobu, so we brought in all these amazing kind of Nobu's ingredients and flair for things which we didn't have before. So refined even more the Sure Club. So it just it was an amazing journey. Then I met one of my best friends even now, which is Anna Hansen, which did the Modern Pantry. So one job led to the other one. So we went from one project to the different project, and it always felt good because you all work with friends. So the best thing to go to work. It was the hours were crazy, but you just went in to work with your best friends. So it's like every day was a great party.
That must be.
Yeah,
privileged to have that kind of work in such a stressful environment.
Yes.
Be able to work with friends.
Yeah.
And
It was quite fresh.
You
It
brought
was
it-
quite,
yeah, fresh.
it was everything was just new and exciting, and everything you were doing was something nobody was doing it at the time. So lots of things I learned from Moro with me to the Sugar Club, and they actually stay with me all the time.
Yeah.
Because I loved all that. Traditionally, my family always had land, and we always had olive trees and produce our own olive oil, and it's very boring. So I'm talking about me again, but. But so all the natural cooking, the barbecue, the grilling, the wood oven, the pizza wood oven that my dad has in the back garden. It's all been part of my upbringing, really. We didn't go to school for that. That was just we had it.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of like coming together. So when I went to Moro, we were using the charwood grill, and then we had the wood oven, and it's just like felt really exciting because obviously London was one of the first places, if not the first places, to do all that.
Embrace Spanish, kind of more traditional and old school.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then all the just beautiful flavors from cooking for natural ingredients, using natural, the smokiness and everything.
Yeah.
So that was
That was
fantastic.
exciting, yeah. So what's your childhood food memories?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll start from there, from the beginning.
Let's go back a little bit more.
Yeah, a couple of years.
A couple of years, yes, just yesterday. Well, so we, as I told you earlier, come from a small town, part of Carrara, it's called Marina di Carrara, which just beyond on the seafront. And Carrara is much more the mountains kind of things. They're connected. It was very, it's only a few kilometers away, but we're on the seafront. And I remember we come from a family of fishermen. So my dad's dad, my dad died, my granddad, him, Carlo, my granddad. Which I never met. I used to be a fisherman, so we always had boats and we used to go fishing. So my dad remembers fishing with his dad. And then with that traditional there was a moment back in the 80s where we re-embraced that as well.
Yeah.
And Dad decided to go back fishing. So I remember going doing the net with him in cold in the middle of winter, and then got up to the net. And we had, the house in Italy is 2 floors, and downstairs was a huge area, which is all empty because it used to be the old stables. It's a really old house. So I used to use the downstairs area to kind of hook up all the nets and cleaning them and take all the fish out and resewing the nets together, getting ready for more fishing. And I just thinking, I remember going, now, I think because there's that moment of the Vaseline moment, when you're thinking everything is like, you see things through a Vaseline lens. You think, that was quite romantic. Actually, in those days, it wasn't quite romantic at all. Around the net. But it was a part of the bonding with Dad was, obviously this passion for sailing, because my dad was even as a teenager was a sailor, and then was out and yachting around the islands in Italy. Was just as doing regattas. So we had that side of the family, very kind of. And then we had the other side of the family, my mum's side a bit more, where they had landowners, and they were producing olive oil and the wine and that. So literally my mum's more, they were land people, and still have, even now they still have all that, the Bertocchi side of the family still have lots of land. And then, they're producing all those beautiful ingredients. So I was really quite lucky I had both sides of it. Then when I was growing up in the 80s, I was with a young teenager then. My dad, we used to have a second home in the countryside, in a small hamlet, middle of nowhere, in Tuscany, but it's called Comano. It had a lovely little tower, very ancient tower in the middle of it. And we built what it was a shack first, and then became a proper house within the years it developed. and then there was the kind of like with dad and mum, they were kind of coming together, the two culture bringing together. And we had, summer used to have big grills out all the time, people come and stay. We had, camping site for all friends and sorts of, and we had animals and we had a little farm. It was just like crazy. It was like, the summer was amazing. It was just
Americans do Netflix documentaries about this. You could be.
I could be the next one.
You could.
No, it was really, it's just quite, it was brilliant. I mean, looking back, it's like, God, they were doing it for fun. There was never much money involved. It's all kind of poorly done. But actually, the freedom that was attached to it, the freedom for us kids running around, the food that would come out, or my grandmother coming down and making the fresh pasta roll that, they said, the lasagna on a Sunday, and you had something baked in a wood oven, the fish cooked if someone brought it from the coast. And, it's just like, wow. Literally, shucking mussels, every mussel with lemon juice. And, nowadays you can't do that anymore, you die. You get food poisoning forever. Oh, no. But, those days it was just a different, I don't know, maybe I was, because I was younger and I was experiencing things in that way, but things seemed a bit easier, even for my parents are younger. Yeah. Everybody's younger, isn't it? So your perception of life is different. But I always I kind of miss it. I miss a bit that thing, It's quite nice. One thing I love about going to Italy now, because my parents sold everything in Kumano and we don't have anything anymore there. But, my parents are still at heart, they would like to have their own piece of land and produce their olive oil. So they start all over again about a few years back. Yeah.
That's
they have. I know they are. Yeah. So they're not fishing anymore. That they can't. Yeah. Can't go on the boat. So the boat is all gone. But he bought a huge allotment. It's big. And now I've built a house in it. And then they still have enough, around to go for his olive production. So olive produces his own olive oil. And I have to say, my dad's olive oil is really delicious. It's probably the best olive oil I ever tried. And then, they produce his own wine. It's all very kind of done with his heart. So it's a bit like hit and miss. Sometimes it's delicious. It's kind of, they call it biodynamic. Yeah, it's definitely biodynamic.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's...
Yeah, terrible. Yeah. So I use it for salad dressing. But, it's fun, and then they still have the, they would rebuild the big pizza oven. So whenever we go to Italy, Dad is always ready there with, his pizza, and his focaccia and his thing. It's quite fun.
Yeah. What are you going to be doing next then? What's the plans in the future for Gianni?
Yeah. Well, crazy time with the COVID and everything. We've been just going through lots of, up and down and sideways. But one thing that made us to realize is, that, we had to do something different. And then we decided to have our own business as everybody's closing down. And we decided to set up a business, a company, which is called Pizza Squad. And Pizza Squad will be on the wheels very shortly, in a matter of a few weeks. I think we're probably going to be operating from November. And there is a pizza van. So the only clever thing about it, we're going to do something new that's not been done before. But I haven't seen it over here very much at all, which is called a farinata. So we're going to do pizzas as well and calzone. The idea would be to have 5 different basic flavors. And then, people will say if they want slightly different, we can do that. Have a calzone, which it probably is going to change regularly. And then probably have a special pizza weekly, which we can tweet about and talk about and whatever. And then we're going to do a farinata, which is basically a chickpea pancake.
Chickpea, yes.
And then it's just, it's very simple. But we're probably doing Greece to do something similar. We do it in France, and they do it in Arab country as well, which is like just making this batter with chickpea flour and water and olive oil, just basically cooking in a wood oven. Sometimes we do rosemary or without. but it's one of the nicest things you can try. I was at home just a few weeks, last Saturday I invited my son to come over with his fussy eater girlfriend. And then it was part of the, trying a few ideas and throwing a bit of bread on here, just flying a bit of a few pizza bases around. But it was quite fun thing to do. But I just made it farinata. And they both loved it. I thought, oh, that was delicious. With different toppings and, I like it as it is, just baked in the oven, thin pancake, lots of salt, lots of olive oil and fresh milk pepper.
And that's it. Yeah. So
it's
like a pancake.
But it's really thin. Yeah. So honestly, you just pour. If you have there's a special oven tray you can get for pizza's oven in Italy. It's quite heavy over here. I don't think it would work for a little pizza oven in the van, but we can do the same thing equally with normal. So it's good quality flour. So and over here you find easy to find the ground flour, the chickpea from India, which works fine also. But if you find the Italian one has a totally different flavor. It's as sweet as a sweeter. It's not as kind of spiced. In the Indian had some kind of spice to it, very kind of typical. In fact, I started using that first, the chickpea flour over here. So something that you forget. You grow up with so many different things, and then
exactly.
some basic stuff you totally forget. We were doing a branch. We were setting up the branch for Dehesa, and I started doing fritters with the chickpea flour and prawns, and then it's all really delicious. They didn't work there because it was taking too long to cook, whatever. But they were delicious. And then that flour would be perfect. So it's Italian chickpea flour milled, and then literally olive oil and water and salt. But makes it this amazing snack.
Yeah,
it's not even a snack. In Italy, it's proper meal.
Really?
Yeah. What you do in Italy is just get focaccia, baked, kind of focaccia, hot focaccia, cut in half, and just put the farinata or calda, depending where you come from the area. Everybody calls them a slightly different name. So if you come from Sicily, from Florence, it's called a cecina. It's chickpea. My area has been more common, so we call it calda, the hot one. But it's the same thing. You get the hot focaccia, cut in half, put the farinata in, nice bit of pepper. So we're going to be doing that.
That's unique, as you said.
I think it's very unique. Something that we definitely like to shout about. Because it's gluten free, it's vegan friendly, it's nice. It's something that you don't normally get. And then we're going to do different toppings with it, and maybe I'll do it with some sweet onions and diced. We can do even can we wrap it up? Use this as a wrap and wrap it up. I won't give all the tips. So, but there's it. So that is the. So Adrian, my partner Adrian, my dear love. He's been putting up with me for the past 26 years. It's been it's very much behind the whole project and the idea. It's been very he's been doing tasting already. We've been trying lots of different things. So it's been quite exciting. So pizza squad, watch out.
So I guess farinata is one of these things that you had as a kid.
Yes. Yeah. So when we had the pizzeria in Coman, so going back to my childhood.
So pizzeria, your father had it.
But yes, my father had the pizzeria back in the 80s, and then I was probably about 13 at the time, and I was really shy and a bit like frozen most of the time and just kind of feel inept as most children do. But one thing I loved about working in a pizzeria was, the relationship with the fact I didn't need to speak to anybody. I could just be in the kitchen anyway. So that was me, number one. But then it was like actually learning all these new things, which my dad taught me how to stuff mussels and making stews and all that kind of stuff. So it came from my dad. And still, occasionally, I use these dishes even now.
Yes.
Bring back on the menu. Occasions like, especially for tapas, it works really well. Yeah. So then the pizza that, we used to make the farinata, and then it was then when I kind of really started to embrace it. Dad used to make, we used to learn. I learned pizza from him, and which is the first master of, pizza making and everything. But behind him, there was me as the one in the kitchen chopping things away and getting the doughs ready. So I was the little, what do you call it, the ferry at the back.
Yeah, you were doing all the hard work.
Yeah, I was doing the hard work. Yeah. Dad was like, the oven is on. Yeah, the dough is made, rolled up, and then.
So I guess it was a wood-fired pizza. Yeah, so that's kind of the trick. Everybody had to do that.
Yeah, so we all learned how to do it. Dad was obviously the one in charge. There was only 4 of us, really, because my youngest brother was tiny at the time.
Yeah.
So my mum was the front of house. I was kitchen. My brother Simone, it was the charmer of everybody. He would be taking orders.
Yeah.
He was like, he was 10 or 11. He's taking orders at the table and waiting at the table and doing tips. I was like, I did all the work. You just turn up. Typical restaurant world,
But you knew it since then. I mean, why did you become a chef?
I don't know. Not for the money.
Not for the money, for sure.
Not for the money. But that was, we did that in the pizzeria in Comano for about 4 years. About that, because then I started catering college. We sold it before, just as the same period we sold it, so it wasn't there anymore. I guess we are concentrating more on my studying, learning about cooking, professionally and everything. But that experience always stayed with me, and it's something that I loved.
You'd say it was a positive experience.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't traumatic.
No. I loved my boys to kind of embrace that as well. I'm trying really hard to get them involved as much as possible into the pizza squad. So Adrian and I are really kind of going, well, no, they are helping. They're helping with all the technology side of it, helping with things that we are not very good at.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
It is, yeah.
Especially in a big city, you're not in a small seaside village.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Liam is all into the IT situation at the moment, which is my younger son. Shane at the moment is not doing much, but it's going to help me when we're opening and washing dishes. He's been trained. I think Adrian's going to be front of house. He's going to be the eloquent, the family, the one that can speak properly. The one that so he'll be dealing with the public, and then with ordering and stuff, and I'll do the back office kind of stuff, and then. I don't know. We're doing whatever is needed to be done.
After 35, 40 year cycle of, you're going back to your roots of, pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting. The pizza oven, I can show it to you, is being made in Italy at the moment. Actually, it's been shipped over just now. I'll show you in a minute. And it's really cute. It's just like, I think it's as big as that table there. I think it's about a meter diameter.
Yeah.
And then it's black and gold with black tiles, kind of mosaic with a few golden tiles on top. Kind of tastefully done. Which would be the heart of really the van, really. And that's it. It's going to be us, the pizza van, the oven, and I'll go fridge, everything gets installed professionally. And we got a guy in Croydon, which is doing all that. So yeah, it's quite exciting.
Good.
We're working at the moment on a logo. We got a friend of my grandson designed the logo at the moment. So even my grandson has been dragged into that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He's a cool kid with. With all the cool friend, family is big. So it's what I think if you do something, we employ everybody. Should do a little bit.
The Mediterranean way.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. Keeping the family business. Means you work for free. Is that what it means? You work for free?
It does. Sorry again. So what you was it about pizza? Was it about farinata? And about mussels. I think I remember something about the stuffed mussels.
Oh yes.
What was your father's?
Yeah, it was fun. Do you remember? I did I took the Dehesa, did the stuffed mussel.
Yes, and I really loved it, and I they were delicious, obviously, but I love that it was part of your family's history.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still is. Even now, Dad, when we go to Italy, there were a few things that I request.
Yeah.
There's a request card. It's like, give me some mussels. Yeah, and we kept the octopus in it. My dad does this beautiful octopus salad as well.
How does the mussels? What's his recipe?
Well,
Not the secret, but
no,
the idea.
But basically, what you do, a third of the mussels, they're shucked, freshly shucked, and then letting kind of drain a bit. And then you use the other 2/3 of it, you steam them, you pour them out. You save the water for the sauce. The sauce is very simple. And then in the mussels you put, so you blend the mussel with some, something like, it's mortadella. So it's mortadella, and then you put eggs in it, and parmesan cheese, garlic, parsley, chopped parsley. So it makes this really delicious, tasty mixture.
Yeah.
And then you stuff the mussels back in. You close the mussels, and then you just before you put them in a tomato base, just do a. They don't need to be tied up or anything. Just close in the valves as they are. Make enough to have to stand them up, so they keep each other hold into place. Ideally, that's what you want to do. And then the tomato base literally is what it is. So it's garlic, lots of garlic, a bit of chili if you like spicy, depends on. And then using the water, white wine, the water from the mussels, and then tomato. Dad uses passata, which usually is his own passata, but you can use the other passata. It's very nice. Also, and that's it. So bubble that down a bit, nothing to reduce it too thick. You just put the mussels in about half an hour, and they're cooked, and they are just the most delicious thing. You can do that for you can have just the mussels as they are as one of those delicious food filet things. I love mussels anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can have as you can throw some spaghetti in it, and then with kind of spaghetti pasta with the tomato sauce and whatever. Or you can serve just a bruschetta with the tomato sauce of your mussels. I mean, honestly, that's what they are. You can have as a tapas, but you can have as a non. More of a dish. You love this from them. Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent.
It's one of those things. It's very personal too. When I do the mussels and stuffed mussels, and it's my dad. It's totally.
I don't know if people appreciate it that much in the restaurant. The other chefs when. I was.
I don't know. I think it was people find it a bit fiddly because oh my god, you got stuff. When you do tapas, everybody just wants to kind of throw things in the pan, and I disagree. I think some things you need to cook it and take a bit of care for it and whatever. The other chefs, I think, was moaning about the preparation. Oh my god, I got to steam the mussels. No, I know, and they pull it out as well. And then you blend it. Sorry. It's like, what do you want? I think what Dad does, which I always thought was incredible, he uses small octopuses. Octopus risotto. You probably have something in the similar,
octopus rice thing. But tell me about your dad's.
That again is just really one of those things. My dad's blenders there. But you kind of use the raw octopus and then use that as a base for before you cook the risotto. So blend bits of it, big chunk, but otherwise blitzed up quite rough, and then in olive oil, garlic, parsley, chili, and the wine. And you cook it at the base first, and you kind of stew all that, and then it obviously changes color, becomes that kind of the aroma comes in, and got the white wine in there. It's just, and they use that as a base to cook a nice risotto. and it's honestly incredible. Finish up with a bit of gremolata, with a bit of chopped parsley, with a bit of lemon zesty, more olive oil.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not dish. I mean, there's so many. Dad always preferred, in effect. I always talk about my dad's cooking. My mum is good as well, but my dad has always been better. Sorry, Mum. She wouldn't like me to say that. And my dad always, because his family tradition of cooking fish and whatever. Fish is definitely where he's strongest at.
Yeah.
He does his beautiful prawns. And the Christmas prawns, brand in it. It's just, he always does even now.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So it's been quite. That has lots of interesting recipes, and they keep developing, expanding the repertoire. Yeah,
That's so nice.
So he likes his cooking. He loves his food. He loves his tomatoes. In the allotment that we have,
So nice.
He just have some, lots of fruit trees around, lots of fresh tomatoes, lots of, it just is. It is actually mesmerizing, all the beautiful produce from Italy. As you know, in Greece as well, we got the climate, and you throw anything on the ground.
For this stuff, yes, yeah, of course.
You've got beautiful aubergine, you've
Yeah.
got beautiful, Sadly, I tried this year because of the lockdown. I said, well, right, okay, we're going to have our own vegetable growing. We had nothing. I think the wild rocket was go wilder, but that was it.
That's it, yeah.
I remember when I went a couple of years ago, last year, I was judging a competition in Marswell Hill, and at the allotment in Marswell Hill. And then if you really felt like you were in Europe, like in
Yes.
Southern Europe somewhere, the beautiful produce, there were amazing things, fantastic people. They all, there was obviously we're in England, and there were lots of English people, but there were lots of there were kind of second, third generation Italians,
Really?
Greece. There was lots of, and all they can see, you can hear people talking to each other from one allotment to the other, and then it felt like so beautiful. I mean, and it was a really beautiful day, hot day. I felt
Yes.
like, wow, it was.
Why is it not like that?
In fact, I tried to organize an event. I wanted to organize an event to kind of a harvest something, dinner or something,
Yeah.
and then it was difficult. We just opened court at the time. It's a bit like couldn't quite. But it was a shame because it would have worked. I could see, I could envisage having a big grill out, a big long table, and
Yes.
under the pear trees and the fruit trees, and,
Super nice.
and having people come and bottle of wine, like people would do in Italy and
Yeah.
Greece as well. Like people would bring their own things, add to the table. That's what I wanted to do. Bringing back that kind of, coming together, this kind of convenience. It is,
Exactly.
it's a great thing. Next time, I'm devoted to that.
Hopefully next summer, yeah.
No, I love the garden. I love gardening in general. But I do take, I can't. A vegetable garden does need care, constant care, day by day.
Yes.
You need to watering, you need picking, you need clearing, and sowing, and sometimes, as you know, when you're working with me at Dehesa, the kitchens are busy. They're this full on and whatever. Sometimes you're at home thinking, I can't even get in the garden
Yes,
yet.
yes. It shouldn't be like this because when you go to the garden, you're like, yes, it's nice. It's so
It is.
relaxing. It's a bit of invigorating for you. It's nice, but you can't
No.
even face that. Which is the good thing in the summer that I spend it all summer in the garden. So I could sit in the garden, do stuff, take care and observing what's happening. When do they grow? How do they grow? What grows better, or what doesn't grow? And obviously, you have all the pests and all the nature and everything coming in, eating each other, and you can see what's happening. So I think next summer I will be a lot
prepared.
more, a lot more knowledgeable as well.
We got a lovely garden. I saw the photographs.
Yes.
It was lovely. Yeah.
It's nice.
And then you really changed it since you moved in to now. Yes. It's lovely.
Where do you stand on the whole Neapolitan pizza thing. And,
Okay, I'm not doing a Neapolitan pizza as such because Neapolitan pizza implies you do sourdough base. My area doesn't do sourdough base. It's not. It's something from the south. So it would be, they're probably going to be on me. You know what? One thing I learned in this lockdown or whatever is making bread and sourdough bread. And I have my starter in the fridge and once or twice a week I make my own bread. And I actually really quite enjoy it. I made it today. I was going to bring you some. It was too hot.
Yeah.
Because I baked it just before I came out. It was just one thing I learned is making bread, getting more in touch with it, and then lots of Tai Chi and aperitivo time. But it's been really interesting because I made bread before, but never using natural yeast.
Yeah.
So using natural yeast is a different process altogether. It's slower. You need to really look after the dough more, and need to kind of try and descend or whatever. And the first few times, I was getting quite frustrated. I have to say, it was like because dry yeast or fresh yeast,
It behaves very straight.
Yeah, they just kind of put it in. It's like an hour and a half later, you can roll it. You're done. So for the pizza line, I'm thinking we're going to use a normal yeast, but with a bit of the old dough in it. So we're going to give it a sourdough base flavor, and then it's going to be fresh yeast as well. So you a bit of mix of the two. I'll try to combine, trying to combine the two worlds. So it gives us a bit more crisp on the crust. I like a bit of crust. The crust when it's
the crust.
Yeah, because sometimes we get some pizzas are really chewy, and I don't like that. And it's not. It's nice, but it's totally different having, I'm not saying you're going to have a snappy crust, but a bit of crunch to the crust at the base, I like that. A little bit of semolina in there, like a bit of, so it's going to be, that pizza kind of was born with and kind of grew up with, and I feel comfortable with it.
Exactly.
So we're bringing my own slant into that. I think all of a sudden in England seem to have all gone in Neapolitan. Yes, everything has to be sourdough, otherwise you're not talking. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it just doesn't have to be. And then it's going to be cooked straight. It's proper. It's a proper pizza oven. And then it takes 90 seconds to cook a pizza. So that is. So it's a proper. Because we were looking at pizza's ovens, for vans and stuff. The majority of them, they take 2-3 minutes to cook a pizza. And what happens is instead of cooking the pizza, they become dry. So the doughs, it takes too long to cook, so the dough becomes dry, suffers. And rather than crispy and fast, because all the ingredients put in are fresh, so it has time to melt. It's 250, 280 degrees. It's really a proper pizza oven. This is what is being made in Italy, and then is shipped up. Because we found so many from Australia, from all different. And they're much cheaper, honestly, and they're not. Just not. Already they're not going to be good enough. So it will be very interesting. You can have a little pizza party at home in your back garden. You got £500 oven, portable, great. But that is not what we want to do.
It's not the same thing. Yes. Of course, in your garden you can even build your own thing.
Yeah,
Take your
of
time
course.
and build it and do something good.
Absolutely.
But for somebody that wants to do it day in day out, as selling a few hundred pizzas per day.
The thing as well, when you do you have a real pizza over in a van, it needs to be done in a certain way, because otherwise it will crack.
Yes.
You're basically on a mobile device, and you're in a van moving around. So if it's hot, it will crack. This one is especially done; it doesn't crack either.
Yes.
And then you can go in location. You can, even if it's hot, you can close the door. You can still move the van.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait until the temperature drops. Which doesn't mean we can cook pizzas while we're driving.
That'll be interesting. I would like to see that.
but it means, it is a different ball game altogether.
Yeah.
So we had to look at that as well because, that's what we went for.
So it's a wood fire oven, yes?
Yep, pizza spot and bullfire over.
What wood are you using? Is there a specific wood for that stuff? Or you...
I'm looking at the moment. I think it's going to be a try and error there because obviously we need to be, there's birch, there's oak, there's lots of different, and they're all very different. I just think let's see how it goes first because I need to see the sides of the logs as well. Obviously, compared to a pizza restaurant, it's a smaller version of the pizza, so you need to keep up the heat and everything. But so on the sides, so we will see. But I don't think it really matters. Really.
It doesn't. That's not the point. The point is the.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it really matters. Yeah, it's more like how long the wood lasts and dry it is, and obviously it has to be smokeless and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you really don't want to, be smoked in the van.
Yes. Yeah.
But I just think it's for me. At this point, it would be how long lasts, which is the one who's going to be best. I think we'll be trying that. It's already exciting. It's really exciting because I come waking up in the morning. Adrian and I both have ideas. Oh, have we done this? We've done that. We've done that.
Yeah.
It's been.
You feel like that's completely your baby.
Yeah.
Your thing that you want.
And you when we met, you saw. Whenever my kitchens are, I feel like I'm a restaurant, and I always work like that. I want to get really involved with absolutely every aspect of the job, and then I don't like that. I always liked it. It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
But this is giving me putting all that energy back into it. I kind of missed a little bit in the past few months when I was just, concentrating at home doing Tai Chi, thinking, I'm sure I can do something more than just Tai Chi. And then the idea came out of the pizza van, and then we already realized, you're making a step, but you've been already prepared for the step for quite some time. Already had contact in place. They knew already Antonio for the van. It's already,
and
for lots of different reasons, that was already almost in the pipeline. It's kind of like, well, we've got to do it. Now or never.
And sure it's going to be a success because it's part of your.
The success. Hopefully the people like it.
Yes,
will understand.
It'll be.
As when you do your own gig and everything, it's for me, just being there, it's already a thrill.
Yeah,
but if you get feedback from people, they come back and they really enjoy it, and they refer to friends, and they really embrace what you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is. It just makes you feels good about yourself, and good about your product.
You can wake up next day and do it again, and you feel like that's not what matters. Yeah.
Come on, we gotta do something together. It'll be really fun. I mean, we said this before, and it's not a new thing. Because I love to do cooperation. I love, I wanted Anna to come down to the when I was at the Peasant, to the collaboration with Anna. We did. We take two chefs. It was really quite fun. Great. We did as a fundraising event. We did again.
Yeah.
We did it 3 times in a period. When I did the Dehesa, we were doing lots of different pop-ups. It just is so much. Instead of just kind of saying, I'm gonna be doing just 9 to 5. I just want to do something more than just that. This I think. Part of the idea of having my own pizza van and it's part of that is don't want to do a 9 to 5 anymore. I want to do something more fun. You bring friends in. Let's do this. Let's do a weekend somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's organize something. Just let's get motivated. To get people together.
Because it can be from something like a food market, a street market, but it could be something completely out of the blue.
Absolutely.
You have a friend that does a little party.
Yeah.
And you have that, or it could be a wedding or whatever, but it could be nothing like that. It could be just a weekend.
Yeah, we can, equally, it's not even for selling things. Just make money. Not necessarily. Obviously I need to pay the rent. Obviously I need to pay whatever. But apart from on top of that, if we say, oh, let's go down to, and it's 10 of us with a caravan, great, I'll take my pizza over with me.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And then I just got my bell tents to put up, and then you just have, just we can be on the beach all day if you want to.
Definitely a lot of opportunities there.
Yes, and then it's
beautiful things.
Exactly. It's about quality of life. Also, not just I'm sick and tired of working for money. Do you know what? I never made any money. Let's do something. Maybe we don't make any money out of it, but at least we maybe will enjoy doing other things. I bought a bell tent 2 years ago. I never used it. I used it twice. Once in my own garden, I set it up.
Really?
Yes, I did. And then, because, and then I was thinking, okay, I've got all this camping equipment. I always want to do is, I love camping. And I want to do events. And I was thinking, I never went anywhere. I was thinking, well,
yes.
let's
hope
do.
Post-COVID, we can have the opportunity to have some festivals and,
Festivals, coming, people, whatever.
Yeah.
Just, and I just think in a way, I think doing the pizza squad, the idea behind it was all that as well. Just cut and lose a bit of all the, the strings that you have to tie you down, all these kind of things that, you're being pinned down all the time. And hopefully trying to do something it's more what I want to do.
Yeah.
A bit of freedom, not only in the creativity side of it, but even with the creativity with the business, what you want to do with this, And the best business, I always seen the best business is the one done with love and fun. When you go out with, the guys from the Fresh Olive Company, the nice called Bella Zoo, and you're going to Spain and spend a weekend in Spain, and then you just not only meeting the fantastic producers and amazing ingredients, but you just have so much fun. You want to, you don't want to leave them ever again. You just. They're having fun, you're having fun. They bring you there to have fun, and you are as the best you can do.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yes, I just think that is the best way to do things. When we opened Moro, the Sam Clark and the Sams and then Mark, they're very party people. They're really old friends for many years, and they all brought out to, and I know them from Yons, because I know them for 25 years before we opened Moro. We were already partying together. It just kind of everything they've done was for fun, with fun, with a smile on their faces. Yes, they've been extremely successful, but they were doing things because they were having fun, and they were between friends, and then just go for it, And I just think that's what I love to do. That's ideally what I love to do, inspired by these people. I hopefully. Everything else will come with it, I think. I just think if you do things for fun, not for anything else, it's just. I feel like I didn't speak much about my mum's side, but that would be the next podcast.
Yes, exactly. Only one.
Exactly. Because it's quite a different thing. But we're talking about fish more.
Yeah. Maybe we can do a quick fire round of your top 5 favorite dishes.
My top favorite dishes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Quick fire. Whatever comes to your mind.
To my mind.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about the mussels already, so that's out. Okay. What do I like? I like interesting, weird things as well. Obviously, I love Japanese food quite a lot. I love my sushi and I love sashimi. The crudo fish I really love. So, the fruit de mer, that crab, all that. If I can die, and then it's going to be one of the last meal.
Yes.
It definitely is going to be some crudo on the table and lots of nice kind of seafood.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just hacking both with chill wine. Oh,
Crab.
yeah.
Lobsters.
I did actually. It's Adrian's birthday just a few days back. He said, "What do you want?" He said, "Me say, oh, well, let's go to a seafood restaurant." And it looked nice. So, just do it. I said, "Okay, fine." So I called one of my suppliers. Said, "I come to pick up this, and then he gave me a big lovely lobster, another portion lobster, and then a couple and a half lobster each. It's like I made fries, so we had to fry it. Little French fries and lobster, half a lobster is like, nice and homemade coleslaw. It's just perfect. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
prawns. I love prawns. Sauté prawns, grilled prawns. I love risotto. Anything with risotto, kind of, and I love it. I don't know. I'm Italian. It's just like, what do I like? Everything. Charcuterie. you say 5 dishes. I thought it's impossible.
1 million dishes. Exactly. I like that answer. Yeah, impossible to say 5 dishes.
Yeah, it's impossible to say 5 dishes.
Do you think Italian cheeses or Spanish cheeses? Come on.
Okay. Ooh, difficult. They're very different. They're very different. I mean, I think, you know what, in Europe, to my experience, the French French cheeses are, good. I prefer English cheeses to French cheeses in general. And I think the milk over here and the production of cheese is done with the heart, which is not been done anywhere else in Europe. I think the cheese here in England, all the dairy side of things is just, I think, is mind-blowing. I obviously love my pecorino. It's from my region, and I love my mozzarella, my freshly made. I used to remember Dad driving up the mountains and buy mozzarella freshly made, turned, still hot. To me,
Brilliant.
I used to be those to be when I was growing up and living with my parents. What do you do with this today? I don't know. Let's go for a drive. I said, damn it. We're sitting in the car for hours, sleeping on the motorway, and then end up on into some kind of milk, kind of cheese production somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And then, mozzarella, hot mozzarella coming out of the bag. Like, oh my God, mozzarella. Or when we had the pizzeria, we used to go to Langhirano, get the prosciuttos, so you go and then find yourself in the back of some shop, eating, getting meat cut out from someone making a stir fry, thinking, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's just such a different world, And I'm actually really pleased I shared that with my dad, because I think because I was the oldest, I got that more than anybody else in my family. So that kind of, because Simone would have been 2 years younger than me, so he was definitely interested. And so all that kind of stuff was just really quite fun. Yes, that's great. It was crazy. Looking back now, I was thinking, my God, I totally forgot about it. And you just kind of reminded me. So the Italian cheese, of course, I love Italian cheese. Northern Italy, the softer, the creamier, the sweeter, the mountain air. It's a different cheese altogether. The south of Italy, the islands, they make it more salty and more, zingy. That kind of bites you a little bit. That hot, the salty spice as much as the pepper. It's just beautiful. I just love that. I love that kind of variety. But going back to your question, which I'm long-winded as always, you just say always go around. It has to be. No, I think it has to be a draw. Yeah, it has to be a draw.
Diplomatic.
No. I love my Spanish cheeses. I
do love Spanish cheese, but I think.
And I met some amazing suppliers in Spain.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much love into the Spanish food.
There is a lot of passion in love. Yeah. For sure they have that. But I think the Italians have a little bit of edge on the Spanish. They have a little bit of.
Yeah, just go. It's a packaging.
Maybe it's a packaging. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's Spanish thing about Italian food in general is that they buy it in Spain. The package in Italy costs £2 more than. It's a thing, like the olive oil. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It goes from the Arbequino olive oil in Spain is £2 less than if it comes from Italy, but it's called Berrio without mentioning.
I'll give it to my enemies. Filippo Berrio.
Do you mean it was like kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of thing?
Fair enough. Okay. Thank you for joining me in this podcast.
No, it was my pleasure. Really my pleasure.
Great. I hope you'll enjoy when you listen back. And thank you for joining us. And this is Delicious Legacy. And I'm Tom Dinas and
Giancarlo Vatteroni. Ta-da! Hey, Gianni. H.